Out of all the Xperia phones we've ever seen, the Xperia Play is just, I don't know, I remember being so excited when it came out. Actually, I filmed a video for a UK retailer who was looking to promote it way back then in, what was it, 2011, I think. What a magical device that was. I think it's time Sony gave us a new Sony Xperia Play. Quick shout out to our friends Private Internet Access who are sponsoring this video, and this channel right here, STE Show. This is run by a really great guy, this channel, and here's his cinematic unboxing of the Xperia Play. He's just a normal guy like us who's a real serious Xperia fan, a really nice chap as well, which helps. I love what he's put together here. In fact, do go over to his channel. He's done cinematic unboxings of lots of cool Xperia stuff, and there's plenty more coming that way. So just give him a like and a subscribe and a comment and all that good stuff. And let's look at what the Xperia Play was when it first came out and how successful it was. So obviously the Xperia Play looks a lot like the PSP Go, which was actually, I think it was way back in 2009 that came out, but of course in many ways they were very different. This is an Xperia device for a start. Snapdragon S2 chipset, 4-inch display, TFT LCD screen, and it's a 16:9 ratio here, of course. Things have changed a lot, haven't they? God, they've changed so much actually. Anyway, some nice games preloaded. I think it's fair to say, what was it, a 1500 milliamp hour battery. This phone was able to compete more or less with everything else out there, but it was sufficiently unique, and it's fair to say that the reviewers at the time were pretty much into it. Where it started to go wrong was really down to the kind of, I don't know, some of the Sony stuff that maybe hasn't changed too much. Like, for example, it didn't really get as much love and support from Sony as it should have done in terms of updates, and well, in fact, there was no new version that ever came out, which was unfortunate. But here's why I think Sony needs to do this again. The Xperia Pro is, as we've said before, very niche, but it works as a concept and it will keep improving as time goes on. There will be costs involved in re-engineering the Xperia 1 Mark II to make it a Pro model. Equally, with the 5 Mark III, I think there's a strong case for making an Xperia Play version of that. It's going to be less niche and more popular, I'm sure, than the Xperia Pro, and I think it's going to generate huge headlines and press coverage around the world for Sony Xperia, which is a good thing. We know that Sony is only looking to shift potentially, you know, 1 million phones a quarter, and I think this could be a really nice addition to the range. And I don't think the costs of engineering that slider mechanism and having the control here, I don't think that's going to necessarily need the price to increase by more than, say, $200, but it makes the device so unique and it would really grab attention. You pull a new Xperia Play out your bag on the tube, on the bus, people are going to notice, and I think they're going to love it because it will have a little bit of that retro magic to it as well. And the other thing, of course, is that after lockdown, I mean, more and more of us are now able to get out and about, and I think, you know, gaming on the go, we've seen Asus and their amazing 2021 lineup for serious gamers. Yeah, this seems like the right time to be doing something like this. Now we're getting out and about, which leads me to private internet access. So where I live, travel and work restrictions are now being lifted again, which means I can go and work from coffee shops, which is so much better than working from home. This is where I write my scripts, do my research, respond to your comments, and contact potential video sponsors like PIA. The thing is that doing that all in a coffee shop means you're going to be using their Wi-Fi probably, and that means you're potentially vulnerable to hackers and anyone who wants to spy on you. That's where private internet access comes in. PIA protects me from the baddies out there, and it doesn't just help me, it's helped to protect over 30 million people around the world, and I'd recommended giving PIA the chance to protect you too, especially now that we have this special offer you'll see in the video description below. It's simple to use, you don't need to be a genius, and it's really easy to set up and get yourself protected instantly. Secondly, beyond protection, IP cloaking means it's extremely easy to make companies think you're located in a particular country to unlock, for example, television programs you want to watch, but you wouldn't normally be able to access. Now that I love. Although perhaps it does mean I'm not always as productive as perhaps I should be. PIA does this all extremely well because they have a staggering amount of servers in a huge number of countries around the world. Do check out the PIA link in the description below. There's a no-risk trial period with PIA, so you can give it a go right now. So if you're not convinced it's right for you, you won't be out of pocket. One of the funny things about Xperia Play is that if you look for these devices on the second-hand market, the thing is, people still really want them. They have got that cool factor. And I think if Sony were to give us a new version of this phone with that beautiful slider mechanism, I mean, we know that Sony does hardware incredibly well, and that's a really nice way of showcasing the kind of Sony magic that we all love. Getting the controllers in there and avoiding having to do gameplay just using touchscreen, I think a lot of people will be into that. And as I said before, the kind of the retro magic, that works as well. Now, for this to really, really work, in my opinion, what needs to happen is that when Sony bring out, it's going to be too late now, of course, for the 1 Mark III, 5 Mark III, and 10 Mark III. I mean, I still don't even know when the phones will be coming out in Europe. We still haven't got that information. Well, at least not as I'm saying this now. Anyway, so let's say by the time the 1 Mark IV, 5 Mark IV, 10 Mark IV come out next year, assuming that that's what's going to happen, what I think they should do is make the Xperia Pro available at exactly the same time as the 1 Mark IV and make the Xperia Play available exactly the same time as the 5 Mark IV. And they should only do the launch event when they're ready to open pre-orders immediately and start shipping like within a week or so, maybe a couple of weeks. If they can pull all of that off and do all of those things, I don't know, I really think that could work an absolute treat for Sony, and I think a huge number of people would be really into a new Xperia Play. So let's pretend, for argument's sake, I've got my Xperia 1 Mark II here, let's pretend that the Xperia Play is ready right now. So what the Xperia lineup should be is the Xperia 1 Mark II, and then the Pro version of that phone where it can be used as a monitor and all that 5G goodness as the Xperia Pro. But then the 5 Mark II, you'd have the standard version, which is kind of like the 1 Mark II compact, whatever. I mean, I know it's not like the good old days of compact Sony phones, but then the Xperia Play is the special edition version of that phone for the fans, for the gamers, and I think it's got the potential to go beyond a special edition of, I don't know, I think Sony could maybe sell 500,000 of those as a kind of special edition run. But of course, we're now just on the cusp of the 1 Mark III and the 5 Mark III, so I would say, obviously, yeah, if they can get this out in time for maybe the 5 Mark IV, and there was a Play version of that, that's really doing it for me. I think everyone would be into that, and I think people would say, come on, this is the Sony that we know and love. I think this is just perfect, actually. I really hope Sony does this. But doesn't matter what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be in the comments section as I always am, and I can't wait to see what you have to say. The other thing is that Bob the Bonsai and I, in a future video, will be covering what I think the new Z Ultra is actually going to be, and we're going to do a video if you live in one of the many countries around the world where it's basically impossible to buy Xperia products. We have a video for you, and we're going to help you get hold of one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.